Welcome to InflectraCon. As part of Inflectra in real life, we're talking about integrating a DevSecOps pipeline with the Spira family of tools. This presentation applies to Spira Test, Spira Team, and SpiraPlan. I'm Hugo Sanchez, a managing consultant with Coveros. I serve Spira product family users in my company. We're Coveros, a services firm serving Inflectra customers. We have been building pipelines with our customers for over a decade. In this session, we're going to talk about issues a pipeline addresses, elements of a pipeline and their function, how a pipeline can help you find defects before production quickly and prevent the continuous creation of bugs, how we integrate our pipelines with the Spira family of tools, and how Coveros can help you get a jump start building your pipeline or integrating the pipeline you have with your Spira toolset. At Coveros, we help companies accelerate the delivery of secure, reliable software using agile methods. We do development, testing, coaching, mentoring, training, and consulting. This is the demo application we use in many of our training courses. We built it because we needed concrete examples of valuable techniques for our classes. It is intentionally simplistic. It includes thorough tests and demonstrates a multitude of good software engineering practices. We use it to teach about MVPs, as you can see. It can be used without internet access. The app is open source. You can go to the URL on the screen, see all of our requirements, code, and tests. You can also get a copy of all of it. The user interface is that of a system that might be used at a library. A librarian might use this to register books and borrowers and lend out books. The application avoids complexity, but achieves technical excellence and good design. This application was built from the ground up using a variety of agile development best practices like BDD and TDD. It has an embedded H2 database and an embedded Tomcat server in it. During our demo portion, we will use our pipeline to demonstrate unit tests, database tests, automated acceptance tests, security static analysis, API tests, UI BDD tests, UI tests, security dependency analysis, performance tests, and mutations tests. We will also show the demo application artifacts in Spira, including a release, requirements, test cases, test runs, and the product QA dashboards to help you make release decisions. But before we go there, let's talk about DevSecOps pipelines. There has been an age-old tension between development and operation groups. This tension has been exacerbated by the advent of agile development practices with their emphasis on early and frequent delivery to customers. Development wants fast creation, innovation, and the ability to see the results of work quickly. Operation wants bug-free, secure, and stable systems. They want to optimize for reliability, availability, and sometimes performance. For the purposes of our session, we would say that a pipeline is a set of tools, technologies, and automated processes enabling teams to consistently build, test, and deploy software that meets quality and security requirements. A well-designed and implemented pipeline allows stakeholders to assess and give feedback on the state of the software throughout the complete development process. It enables a process for taking code changes from development and getting them deployed into QA environments, staging environments, production environments, or delivered to customers. It prevents hard and fast changes that cut corners. It empowers gradual change in focus. And the use of higher environment leads to higher confidence as we get higher to production. A pipeline supports the speed needed for development and the no surprises need for operations. There are four major components on pipelines. Continuous integration, or CI tools, help us manage code in a central repository. Continuous deployment, or CD tools, manage configuration and infrastructure. Continuous testing tools help us automate tests, and automation servers help us orchestrate our pipelines. We use quality and security gates in our pipelines to make sure the need of the stakeholders are met. These gates have different areas of concentration. The build and integration gate is code focus. It allows speed for development. The quality assurance gate is quality focus. It allows the team to concentrate on improving the quality of the application. The staging and pre-production stage is operations and delivery focus. It provides assurance that those requirements by the operations teams are met. Once again, we're supporting from moving from speed to no surprises. The build and integration stage allows development teams to iterate fast and get rapid feedback. Did the build pass? After several builds, you want to add some integration testing. During any of these iterations, the triage team evaluates non-passing instances and determines whether the issues are created by code changes, tests, or the CI/CD environment. The overall team confidence on the application quality starts to increase. The quality assurance stage allows the QA team to apply a battery of tests and get rapid feedback. Is the quality level good enough? During any of these iterations, once again, the triage team evaluates non-passing instances and determines whether the issues are created by code changes, tests, or the CI/CD environment. The overall team confidence in the quality of the application continues to increase. Finally, the staging and pre-production stage allows the QA and system teams to apply the tests they have not been able to move to the left, to the previous gates. Are we ready to release? Is the question to answer. Once again, during any of these iterations, the triage team evaluates non-passing instances and determines whether the issues are created by code changes, tests, or the CI/CD environment. The overall team confidence on the quality of the application reaches a maximum level during this stage. Our pipelines leverage the use of different environments to achieve diverse quality purposes. As part of our demo pipeline today, for the build and integration stage, we check out the code and create a build. We then run through a series of pre-deployment tests, included unit tests using JUnit and Jacoco, security static analysis using SonarQube, database tests that are executed with JUnit, and automated acceptance tests using Cucumber. We then deploy to a test or a QA environment. For the quality assurance and staging stage, in this environment, we run some core quality assurance tests, including API test using PyTest, UI BDD test, quick readiness checks, behave, which is similar to Cucumber using Gherkin syntax and Selenium, UI tests that are using JUnit, HTML, unit test, and Selenium. Security dependency analysis using OWASP dependency check. Performance tests using JMeter. And mutation tests using PyTest. The pipeline can then be used to deploy to the next higher environment or to post the product for customers. These are the details of the pipeline steps and technologies we will be demonstrating today. In order to integrate our pipelines with the Spira family of tools, Spira Test, Spira Team, and SpiraPlan, we use the Inflectra API to create logical links between the Spira artifacts and their real-life equivalents in our pipelines. The state of Spira artifacts can trigger the launch or run of the pipeline. So once you have requirements and have associated test cases with those requirements, you can trigger then a pipeline run or a build. The pipeline run creates a build and it triggers the launch of automated pre-deployment tests. Once those tests are completed, deployments to the tests environment happens. On the deployed environment, we run additional tests, analysis, and create documentation. Once this is completed, we update the linked Spira artifacts and create representations of the executed test runs. This triggers an update on the Spira dashboards. Users and managers can then assess the state of the release and make release decisions using the Spira dashboards. The pipeline can later on be used to deploy to the next higher environment or to post the product for customers. And now we go and see our demo. I would like to show you the initial state of the Spira artifacts for the demo application before we run the pipeline. So obviously, on the InflectraCon demo product, we have our first demo release. And that release, the tests have not been completed. We have completed the development of the requirements, and some of the tasks associated with getting this release to this particular level have already been completed. So when we look then at the requirements, we see that we have a combination of requirements here that we try to abstract so that they would be representative of what you would be using. We have a series of functional requirements. We have security requirements. We have API test requirements, UI BDD and actual UI test requirements, and performance test requirements. So in our case, when we look at, for example, functional requirements, we like to use BDD to develop those requirements. So for each feature, we write a story, and then we write a series of scenarios where you see changes. And what I have done here is we have attached actually a screenshot of the environment that we use to write the tests and the scenarios so that you can see that there is a direct match between our requirements and what we actually use for testing, okay? The other requirement that might be of interest here is obviously for security. We say all the releases need to pass dependency checks and a SonarQube security gate, which is status analysis. All the API tests shall pass. And then we also write, using Gherkin, a series of BDD tests that we use for our user interface testing. So as a librarian, I want to be able to have a UI for lending the book so that it's easily to provide books to borrowers, and then we comment and we have scenarios and we execute all of those. Obviously, UI tests shall pass, and performance tests up to 50 users. That's what we like to see. So we saw requirements, then we see that many of those requirements are actually associated with the tests. So for each requirement, we have one or more tests, and those tests are then associated with the actual tests that are run on the pipelines. So we have requirements, we have test cases, and since we haven't made a run on the pipeline, we obviously don't have any test runs then. So we will now go and run the pipeline. And then after that, we will come back and show you the dashboards. It's important also to see that when we see the release dashboard, we see that in effect, nothing has run. This will most likely also show the results of previous runs of the pipeline. So you might see some things either not run or not passing, etc. And as the quality level of the application increases, then many of these indicators will turn to green. We're looking at the Jenkins interface. To start the pipeline, we click Build Now. Once the pipeline is started, it checks out the code from a GitHub repository and it builds it using Gradle. It then runs a set of JUnit unit tests. We have about 200 unit tests on this pipeline and are achieving a high percentage of coverage. The pipeline then runs a series of integration tests that also hit the database. We then run automated acceptance tests, which are BDD tests, that is, behavior-driven development. We then run static analysis using SonarQube, and based on the result of that quality gate, it can actually fail the pipeline right here if it deems that the results do not meet the gate requirements. The pipeline then deploys to test, which is a QA environment. It's actually taking the build binary from the development environment and moving it to a Tomcat server on the QA environment and publishing it. Then, on this new environment, we start to run a battery of tests. We run API tests using PyTest, which is a Python-based testing tool. As you can see, then it does the user interface behavior-driven developer test using Behave. Then it is going to run the general UI tests, which are not BDD oriented, and we use Java and Selenium to do those. Then it does the security dependency analysis using OWASP dependency check. This test actually contacts the National Institute of Standards and gets the latest vulnerability counts for your components. Now it is doing performance tests. We can actually run on this demo pipeline up to 50 users simultaneously, running through a series of ordinary actions. We use JMeter to do that. And to reduce the runtime on this demo, we're actually limiting it to 30 users. Then we do a little bit of mutation testing using PyTest. This test actually modifies the test code and then runs the test again. The tests should then fail. If they do not fail, that means your initial test might be suspect, or you have, for example, fake unit tests that have been put in place to artificially inflate your code coverage numbers. We then update the Spira tool with the result of our test and actually create test runs. On the Spira test runs, we create links to the pipeline test results, so then you have all the test result information in one place. And after all of that is done, we create documentation in the form of Java doc based on comments from classes and methods. What I would like to do now is to show you the results of the pipeline run on the Spira family of tools. And I'm going to do this in the opposite order that I showed you before we ran the pipeline. So we're coming here to the InflectraCon demo product, and we're coming to the overall testing dashboard. And as we can see, the requirements have now gone from not passed, not run, not cover to passed. The test execution status has now gone to pass, and in the test run, we can see the fact that we had a successful pipeline execution and that 6 of the tests passed. None of them were blocked or not run or failed. We also see from a regression point of view that all our requirements are now passed. So in general terms, we're in fairly good shape. And we can also see how from a pipeline point of view, from a release point of view, the test summary is that everything has passed. What I would like to do now is show you how we bring some of the information back from the pipeline run into Spira. So let's go and see some of the details. What we see now when we go to the requirements area is that all the tests have been run, that everything passed, and that we have good test coverage in our requirements. What we can also see from a test execution point of view is that when we go look now at our test cases, we see that they have all passed, but we have some interesting information that we bring from the pipeline. For example, when we're doing a UI BDD test, we look at the information that came on the test runs, and we have the ability to now take a look at some of the reports that were created during the pipeline run. So what you're seeing here, for example, is a Cucumber report that tells us that we had a certain number of features and that all but 2 of them passed. So we're fairly good from a passing point of view, from a coverage point of view. We can take a look at the features. 87% of them pass. We can take a look at the scenarios. And we can take a look also at the steps. Of interest also is what this thing will show us. Obviously, a user being able to log into the system, we see the requirement. As a registered user, I want to be able to log in so that I can use the system capabilities. And as I showed you before, we have a series of scenarios and we have a series of steps that we have the ability to put in. And in effect, the system ran through all of this and they passed successfully. The question becomes, what happens to the ones that don't pass? So let's take a look at some of the features that have not been completed from a development point of view. So take a look at that particular one, and we see here then that some things pass, but some things are pending, and therefore they fail from an overall point of view. And it points to us specifically where the failures were and where the area of concentration needs to be for the development team in order to be able to complete the development so that those features can pass. So all of that information is now brought back from the pipeline run so that it gives you information directly on SpiraPlan based on the work that we did. I also wanted to take a look at what happened with our security tests, because we bring some interesting information when we run security tests. I look at the security test case, and now I am looking at the security test run, and I have the ability to access directly from my Spira toolset the results of my dependency checks. And as I said before, the interesting thing about dependency checks is that applications nowadays use so many components that are developed and supported by other people that even though we haven't made code changes, those individuals or organizations might have made code changes that affect the security posture of our applications. So one of the things that we do when we run our pipelines is we do what we call a dependency check. Using an OWASP tool, we go to the web, we gather the information, we compare it with what we have, and here is the result. It's showing us that we have all these different components that we have brought in that are developed by other people, and whether there is a CVE count against those particular components or not. So it looks like everything is checking out okay. So nobody has made any changes that should force us to update those components, because our security posture is still fairly strong. And if you want to see the details of the dependencies, the versions that you're using on this build, etc., all of that information is right here at your fingertips. Okay? So we went and we saw not only the information at the dashboard level to be able to say, hey, we're ready to release or not. But in effect, what we did was from the pipeline run, we updated the state of our artifacts, of our requirements, of our test cases. We see that they are now all passed. And also, we can see the details on the test runs, and we can actually see information about what is it that we did, when it was done, and links to the build in which this test took place, and whether the thing was positive, whether it passed or not. So this now gives us a fairly good level of confidence on the fact that we are in a good state from a quality point of view on our release, as indicated by the artifacts in the Spira toolset. As you saw in the demo, we updated the following application artifacts in Spira: the release, requirements, test cases, test runs, and the product QA dashboard to help you make release decisions. We also bring in important information about test results. These updates allow you to see in one place, your Spira toolset, the state of the quality of your application. We hope that after this session, you realize that the move to DevSecOps is happening. Testing is needed, otherwise what ends up in production might not reflect the level of quality you desire. Quality is important on a pipeline because you don't want continuous bugs. Pipelines enable rapid feedback from your customers and the ability to detect defects prior to production quickly and fix them. You already have a foundation with the Spira toolset, and we can integrate them into the pipeline for you. Let's now talk about how you can jumpstart your efforts and have a working pipeline on your projects. So, how can Coveros help you get started? We have developed quick start packages to accelerate implementation of several popular tools used by many in their DevSecOps implementations. We have designed 3 quick start programs for Inflectra customers: the DevSecOps Pipeline Quick Start, the Pipeline Spira Tool Integration Quick Start, and the Spira Test Automation Quick Start. The DevSecOps Pipeline Quick Start leverages the knowledge and experience gained with our Secure CI product. We have built and supported Secure CI since 2010. Come see it at our website. Coveros can very quickly establish CI/CD capabilities by leveraging our open source Secure CI product. This becomes the foundation for supporting your software development activities. The Pipeline Spira Tool Integration Quick Start leverages our experience integrating pipelines with upstream tools and information radiators downstream of the pipeline. The Spira Test Automation Quick Start provides consulting support to effectively integrate Spira Test into your testing process and start doing test automation. Our Quick Start programs are supported by vendor partnerships to provide best-in-class service and support. Please check the Quick Starts page on our website for more information on these programs. I want to close and tell you a little more about Coveros. We were founded in 2008 with the sole mission of helping organizations accelerate delivery of secure and reliable software using agile methods. That is our area of concentration. We do this by providing a number of services. We help clients transform to utilize and leverage agile and DevOps processes and practices. We help them build and develop software successfully using agile methods. We help them implement and integrate agile testing methodologies and automation technologies. We help them understand and implement continuous integration and continuous delivery, DevOps engineering. And we help organizations integrate security into their development and delivery processes, or DevSecOps. We also provide live and virtual training to help our customers improve, with over 50 training courses that include introductory through advanced levels of Agile, DevOps, DevSecOps, and testing training. We also have a number of open source products that we support and make available to the community. First, we have Secure CI, an open source DevOps tool chain that includes integrated open source security tooling. We also support Selenified, which is a Selenium-based open source test automation framework. At this point, we have been actively supporting the DevOps and DevSecOps community for over a decade. Our company has also won several awards, including the 2018 CIO Review Award for being one of the top 10 agile consulting companies in the country. We're included on the Inc. 5000 list of the fastest growing companies. Our open source products have won a variety of awards, including Hot Ticket Awards from the Northern Virginia Technology Council. I've also included small representative selection of our customers. And while we work with customers in a variety of industries, our primary markets include healthcare, financial services, and technology companies. As you can see, we work with both private and public companies, and our clients include both large and small companies ranging in size from small startups to Fortune 1000 companies. Once again, I'm Hugo Sanchez, a managing consultant with Coveros, serving Spira product family users in my company. We're Coveros, a services firm serving Inflectra customers. We have been building pipelines with our customers for over a decade. We look forward to working with you. Thank you very much for your time.